The Moogerfooger effect pedals have been developed from 1998 all the way up to 2011. The first pedals in this series were the MF101 and MF102, released in 1998 under Big Briar, an alternate company founded by Bob Moog after he sold Moog Music to Gibson. These were one of the first Moog synth-style devices in a guitar pedal format, though in classic Moog fashion, the devices had CV connectivity and sported walnut edges just like their synths. The MF101 was a low-pass filter with an envelope follower, while the MF102 was a ring modulator with a built-in LFO. The next year, in 1993, the MF103 was released. This was a 12-stage phaser effect, which could also be switched to 6-stage, one of the first stereo effect pedals. In 2000, the MF104 was released. This was a limited edition run of an analog delay effect that used the Bucket Brigade delay chip. Eventually, there were multiple variations of this pedal that hit the market, namely the MF104Z, 104SD, 104M, and 104MSD. Interesting aspect of this delay was that the feedback loop could be tapped into and routed out of the pedal for external processing and then brought back in. So essentially, you could process the feedback path of the delay. Now, if you are interested in getting one of these delay pedals now, there's one for sale for only $3,300. The MF105, known as Murph, was the first pedal released under the Moog Music name when Bob Moog reacquired the company name. This was first released in 2004. It was a multiple resonant filter array to create interesting rhythmic envelope modulations on your sound. There was the MF105B released later on that was geared more towards bass instruments. Then in 2007, the Freakbox was released, which was the first pedal to be released after Bob Moog's death. This pedal was almost like a complete synth voice, with a VCO, hard sync switch, and amp control of the VCO via the incoming audio signal. The last effects pedal in the Moogerfooger line was the Cluster Flux, which was a flanger and chorus effect released back in 2011. Moog did release another pedal after this called the CP251, but this was more of a control voltage processor which could be used alongside other Moogerfooger pedals. In 2012, Moog released a whitewashed edition of all these pedals, which were exactly the same except for the change in visual aesthetics. Now, these Moogerfooger plugins are not the first software emulations of the classic hardware stomp boxes. In the year 2000, Moog Factory, a plugin company, released plugin versions of the then available Moogerfoogers. These were done in collaboration with Bob Moog, but were made specifically for Pro Tools. While these plugins are still available for Pro Tools, they are definitely dated and have not been updated for quite a while. Alright, so that's a quick look at where all these plugins come from. Now let's dive into individual plugins and discover how they work.